Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? Let me turn the heater off one sec. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Hey, let's make sure my camera is working. Yeehaw. It is. Fantastic. I had a second there where I was like, oh shit, none of my VTubing stuff is open. Don't need it. Don't need it today. Hello, everyone. We got snow. It snowed here. So we played in the snow for a couple hours. That was fun. Mm-hmm. Let me know if the music is too loud, not loud enough. Whatever. Yeah, Peach is very happy. Peach, since the weather has gone below 0, Peach basically refuses to come in the house, which I'm fine with. I consider her an indoor-outdoor dog. She loves being outside. We have no reason not to let her be outside as often as she wants. Yeah. It's hilarious because it's so cold out there. And she's like, I found my spot. I'm good. She's, for anybody who hasn't seen our dog before, she's a Samoyed. She's a snow dog. So she's very happy. We did have a situation today. We went on our normal dog walk and ran into the two little old men that I see all the time that I've talked about before, who have their 2 dogs. And they always walk them off lead. They're always right next to them, right? Which is fine. And anyway, we were chatting with them and our dogs were interacting, and then I was like, yeah, Clark's just finishing up her snowman, and then which was like this big, and then we're gonna go. And they were like, great, have a fantastic day. And I was like, you too, have a fantastic day. So they left. They literally got so far away that we couldn't see them, right? And we were like, it's a dog walk, whatever. We start walking back to our car, and Clark goes, oh, it's the dog. And one of their dogs had doubled back at some point and just came all the way back to us, and we were like almost to the street. And I was like, so I said, Clark, we can't leave her alone here. She's supposed to be with them. We need to walk her back to them, right? So we started doing that. They called for her and she started running towards them. So we were like, great, she's good. We turn around, we walk to our car, look, and she's bolting towards us, runs into the street to where we are. And we were like, holy shit. Keep in mind, we had a situation really early on with Peach where she bolted out of the gate that's on our property into the road. And so Clark immediately is having a panic attack because, she immediately flashed to like Peach being in danger. She was freaking out. There were no cars. I was like, it's okay. There's no cars. She's going to be okay. We just need to calm her down, get her to us, and then that'll give them time to come and get their dog, right? I know. And so it all worked out okay. But I was talking with Clark about it after, and I was like, this is a very normal thing that happens when something really scary happens to us or we see it. It's really normal for something similar to make us feel like that same thing is happening again. But the dog is okay. Our dog is okay. Their dog is okay. And we were able to help. We were able to help and make sure that everything was fine, And I talked with the owner after, and he was like, she's never done that before, but clearly we need to be more careful, So it all turned out fine, right? But you could tell the owners felt terrible. And I was trying to lighten the mood by being like, our dog's just so cute. She just wanted to play some more. I get it. But it all wound up being fine. I know. Yeah, fortunately, we live in the middle of nowhere, so there were like no cars. But like, if there weren't, it could have been a disaster. So yeah, it wound up being okay. But I've met this dog so many times, and she's never like, she always stays with them. So it was very strange. It was like a really different situation, but I know this dog is really old. So I was worrying that maybe she like started to run back and then got confused. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I can give subs on my channel again. So, very glad. But yeah, aside from that, it's been a good weekend. Sam and Clark are off to do a fun thing together, so that should be good. She insisted that she wanted to go do a thing that was very active, and Sam has been dealing with this like weird sinus headache pressure thing for like 2 weeks now. And so he was like, I'll do it for her, but I might die. So this morning I was like, if Daddy can't do this activity that you want to do, would you be okay with like going to the movies or something? And she was like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. And then there was a pause and she was like, but I really want to go do the other thing. I was like, I know, honey. I know you do. I know you do. We finished Andor last night. Finally finished that up. I didn't think that they were doing a second season of that show, but apparently they are. I guess it's coming out in April. So I was expecting a lot more. This isn't a spoiler, I don't think. This is really vague. I was expecting more things to get wrapped up. And then I was like, things aren't getting wrapped up. And then it was over. I was, okay. It could have been like, Sam and I were talking about, I guess like Star Wars story lore. I don't know a whole lot about Star Wars. I was not a big Star Wars kid. But Sam was like, oh, this character goes on to do this, and this character is involved in this, and all of this other stuff. And I was like, okay, so maybe we don't need these things buttoned up, right? Because a lot of Star Wars fans know what's going to happen, right? Like, this is just the story of how, like, some of these things, like, the catalyst for a couple of things, right? But apparently there's season 2 that's coming, so that's good. Yeah, it's great. Again, for anybody who hasn't been here when we've talked about Andor, those of you who know someone or have been the person being like, I just really want stories in the Star Wars universe that don't revolve around or have anything to do with the Jedi, watch Andor. That's it. That's what it is. And it's great. Well, I think at this point there's been so much Star Wars stuff made that it feels like the Jedi just get used to like for everything, right? As like a plot device for just about anything you can think of. So it makes sense that people who really care about that world are like, but there's so much more to tell that you don't need the Jedi for, right? I know people who refuse to watch Andor because it doesn't have the magic space wizards, and it makes me mad. Yeah. Is it linked to Rogue One? There is a tie, if I recall correctly. The show, you don't need to have watched Rogue One. So. Yeah, at a certain point, right? That's something that I'm starting to appreciate the more of the like Terry Pratchett books that I read. Is like with every story, the world is getting expanded. You know more about the world and what's in it, and the totally different stories that are being told in that same world, right? And it does feel like watching Star Wars stuff, even though it takes place in the vast universe, it still feels like everything pinpoints in one place, right? It doesn't feel vast, and it should. So, as a person who is not emotionally tied to Star Wars at all, that's my opinion. A whole galaxy even, you know? Can a pleb chat member send a message I can test delete? Please, nothing inappropriate. I have no idea what that was for, but that's a funny message to read from one of my mods. Yes, I think that is what it is, right? Wintermute said, Star Wars is a mile wide and an inch deep because it always comes back to the same dozen or so characters. Yes, I agree. I think the characters are part of the problem, right? What can you do? Hey, Zig. They got rid of the extended universe to simplify the story, but also got rid of the cool smugglers, the neat rogues. Yeah, the cool ex-Imperials. Yeah. Getting rid of all of the stuff that they established in like the old novels and stuff. Got rid of a lot of world building, and I understand why they did it. But they need to replace it with something. I heard you got snow and almost stole an old man dog. Yeah. An old lady dog. But that's the other thing about this dog. Super side note. The reason, at least from my perspective, the reason that they feel so comfortable having her off lead, at least in the past, has been that this dog does not like to move. she just lopes after them. If they stop, she lays down. She doesn't run. This is the first time I've ever seen her run anywhere. And I think it alarmed them too, which it should, right? And like I was saying to them, like, we're really lucky nothing happened. And they were like, yeah, we're not gonna do that anymore. But clearly they got very comfy with her not ever running anywhere. She just kind of ambles along because she's an old lady. She played the long game. She was like, I'm gonna really get to the point where these guys are just settled in. Yeah. All the dogs are just barking at each other. Peach is like, guys, my house is amazing. You should come back to our car. Yeah, Peachy's cute. That was one fun thing about the snow. It's really fun seeing Peach in the snow because she always looks white. She looks like the whitest dog I've ever seen. And then she's next to snow and she's like cream colored. And it's cute. I was like, oh my gosh, look at you. We need Peach emotes. We do. We do need Peach emotes. I agree. We do have that one. We have Pet the Peach. From when she was a baby. From when she was a baby. She's bigger now. I can still pick her up, but she does not feel safe. She loves when Sam picks her up because Sam's arms are gigantic. But if I pick her up, like, I can hold her. But she's kind of doing, like, the scrambly things, like, I'm worried you're going to drop me. You know, I don't give her comfort when I pick her up. It's only ever out of necessity.
She's a baby. And I love her.
Yeah. Time to get swole. That's what my kid says all the time. She did the horrifying kid thing where she was like, "Mommy, eventually you're not going to be able to pick me up anymore." And I was like, "Why would you say that? What the fuck?" She was like, "So, you got to get in the gym." I can't argue with that. She's like, "You got to get bigger muscles or you're not going to be able to pick me up anymore." It's like, true. I would love, you know, there was a video of two sisters. One of them has lost the use of her legs and the other one was like, cool, I guess I'm just gonna get ripped as fuck. And it was these two sisters and one of them literally just like carries her sister to do all sorts of like activities, and it was really sweet. And I was like, I'm finding a lot of inspiration here. Obviously not the same situation, but like, yeah, I want to be able to carry my child regardless of how big she is. I think that would be a great gesture as a mother. To be like, I got ripped for you. So that if my baby needs me, if my baby needs uppies, I can do it. I'll be there, you know? Do it for her, but at the gym. Exactly. Do it for her. Yeah. I'm like, alrighty, piggyback ride and her legs are just dragging on the floor because she's twice my size. I can do it. I feel it. I feel it in my fingers and I feel it in my toes. Right. What did I get these muscles for, Clark? For you! I did this for you! That's a deep cut reference. I'll never be able to pick up Sam. If I can, it'll be a surprise to us all. But Clark is basically just built-in incremental weight, dude. If I just keep picking her up, no matter how big she gets, I'll just naturally get gigantic. I literally don't remember what that YouTuber's name is. But the beginning of his videos was always, I made this for you! That's all I remember. And it bored in here. So clearly, he made a good marketing choice. How much do you bench, my child? Calls up kid. How much do you weigh now? Oh my gosh, I think about that too. I think smaller people do think about that sort of thing. Like, Jen said, I always think, how would I pick up Pete if I had to save him from a fire? I also think about those things, yeah. If I needed to get Sam out of a situation and he was dead weight, how would I do that? No clue. I always imagine myself like pulling him onto my back and dragging his lower, like the other half of his body, but I don't even know if I could get that far. I've also thought about that. If there was something dangerous happening and I needed to get my cats out of the house, knowing full well that the second something crazy is happening in the house, my cats are nowhere to be found. Bro. We finished the first Accidental Witch book. It was very cute. Definitely getting the next ones. They are great for the age my kid is at right now. If you're looking for just like a cute book series that doesn't have anything scary happening in it whatsoever, but it has like magic and stuff. Diary of an Accidental Witch. Very cute. The first one, at least, adorable. Yeah. It does that cute thing that like fake diary books like to do, where they'll like draw stuff in there. So one of the pages was like acted like she had taped in her class schedule, you know, like stuff like that. It's just cute. It's cute. It's good like visual interest for little kids. Yeah. It's about a girl that moves to an area, like a small English town that has like weird natural like weather phenomena that happen all the time, which is her dad's like special interest. And so he moves them there so that he can like start logging and tracking the weird weather patterns in the area. And there are 2 schools. One of them is the Academy, and it's just a normal school. And the other one is called the Extraordinary School of the Arts, and it's deep in the creepy woods. And it's entirely magic. It's a magic school. So she, of course, accidentally gets enrolled in the Extraordinary School of the Arts. And the whole first book is about her being like, I'm certainly here, but I have no fucking idea how to do magic, right? And it's cute. It's really cute. Yeah, she immediately came home and was like, Dad, you put me in the wrong school. Send me to normal school. And he was like, all right, I'll work on it. So yeah, consistently throughout the book, she's like, any day now, I'll get transferred to the not magic school. Cold-hearted, thank you so much for joining the cat gang. Welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Is it weird I want to read a children's book? If you're a grown-ass adult, it'll go by so fast. They're called Diary of an Accidental Witch. And I know there's at least 3 of them. I'm not sure how many there are, really. I finished Vicious the other day. It was fun. Are you going to read the second one? Villainous. I bought a physical copy of Vicious because I enjoyed it so much. I don't want to learn magic. It's truly the most fantasy words to ever leave the mouth of someone that doesn't know magic. So it doesn't piss me off the way that like some, person who didn't know magic existed is suddenly thrust into a magic situation. It doesn't annoy me the same way that those normally do, because in her situation, she's like, it's not like she wouldn't love to do magic, but she can't figure it out. She can't figure out how to do magic safely. She keeps like winding up in sort of like dangerous situations because she can't reliably do it. And because of that, she's having a hard time like creating connections with anybody. So she's, I don't think that she doesn't want to do magic. It's not for lack of trying, right? But yeah, in other books where people have been like, oh, I have to do my magic homework. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. I wish. Same author as Vicious did a beautiful book called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I did really like Schwab's writing style. I enjoy it a lot. I will never understand how even the history classes of a Wizarding World could be boring. Wizard Wars, dude, right? I don't get it either. But, yeah, currently I'm halfway through the second Dark Rise book. That book, I keep listening to it when I'm at the grocery store, and then it's like a scene out of a movie where I'm like opening up something to grab some milk and I go, oh, because of a thing that happened in the book. I like to think I'm really entertaining, for other people around me. I think Free wants a non-sub chatter to write something. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just non-mod. Oh, okay. Would you ever want to write a book? I don't have much of an interest in writing a book. I have written a lot of comic scripts at this point. When I was younger, I really wanted to make comic books. And I've thought before, even just recently, that it would be really fun to do just like a little indie comic. But it's a lot of work. So. Brave chatter is getting sniped. Chat hunting season. Not writing a book doesn't mean not writing a story. Yeah, absolutely. There are so many different ways if you feel like you have a story to tell. There are so many ways to go about doing that, and there might be a way to tackle that that feels more authentic to you, you know? So like someone was saying, being a DM for a lot of people feels like a good way to like exercise creative writing muscles, you know? I fixed it. Praise be. I don't know what the issue was, but I'm very happy for you, Free. I'm so glad it got fixed. Whatever the issue was. My kid goes back to school this week. So we got that going on. We had talked at the end of last year about how I would love to do even a small charity thing every month this year. Or just normalize doing more, you know, outreach and charity streams. So I'm looking at my month, because I have accidentally booked a lot of things to do this month. I'm gonna find a slot to do a thing. We keep talking about doing a readathon. I still think a readathon would be a really fun option for a charity thing. Being booked up is a good thing. Yeah, Clark and I got invited to like go out of town with one of her best friends and her mom. Which I think will be super fun. And we put together a board game night. But I think at this point, it's been so long since I've done like a focused, like, let's raise money for a thing. Or even just like all of our ad money and money goes toward a thing, you know, that I think I'm going to have a tendency to try to overcomplicate it when it doesn't need to be a huge thing, you know? Yes, I think we should do our tournament bracket, our Game of the Year tournament bracket again, because that was so fun. But yeah, we should take a look at the, I think I was only looking at spooky ones last time, really. But we should take a look again at books that you can do whatever you want with now. At the time when we were looking, we were talking about reading Frankenstein or Jekyll and Hyde, both of which, according to the internet, take like only a couple hours to read. Really, they're like pretty short books. But I'm sure we could find an equivalent to that. I knew somebody was going to say, or we could just finish Dracula. These are separate things, though. The idea of this is you start a book from the beginning and finish it in the same stream. That I would read the whole thing out loud on stream while we're raising money, right? I know we haven't finished Dracula. I'm very sorry, but we're talking about a different thing. I mean, we could do Frankenstein or Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde apparently takes like an hour to read. It's like super short. Can you read books on stream or do you need permission? So that's what I'm talking about. So there are so many books that are, you can do whatever you want with them. They're just out in the open. And so we planned to pull from that list. Frankenstein and Jekyll and Hyde are both on that list. I don't think we can read the Moomin books. I would love to. I don't think we can, though. The people that own Moomin are very intense about Moomin, so... Public domain books is, yeah, there are lists. There are lists of just every public domain book. Are any of the Moomin books public domain? Let's find out. The Moomins will enter the public domain in the US in 2043. It's got a while. It's got a while to go. Yeah. Anytime anybody makes any Moomin thing, all of the comments immediately are like, I really hope that you got permission for this. There's a lady in Denmark, I think, who's making like these beautiful blankets, Moomin blankets. And she has to, every single time she posts about it, be like, I got permission. These are officially licensed. It's fine. I got permission, guys. Peter Pan is public domain in the US, but not the UK. Oh, that's an interesting thing to think about as well. So I'll have to specifically look to see what is public domain in the United Kingdom. But then is there a weird thing about people in the US listening to a stream where I, in the United Kingdom, read a book that is public domain? This is weird. That's weird. Twitch is a US company, so I imagine US laws. I mean, you'd think that, but there are plenty of other things having to do with Twitch where you as the viewer need to abide by the laws in your country with how you interact with the stream. So... Exhibit 1, I can't gamba. Yeah. We have plenty of people in chat that cannot gamba. Even if the gamba doesn't do anything. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Technically, you can use your winnings to get a sub that has real value, but that's not gamba. That's using a fake currency to get a real thing, which I don't think counts as gamba. You're not gambling anything. You're accruing something. I think channel points gambling isn't allowed here because you get more channel points if you spend real money. You get more channel points if you're a sub. I think stream to stream you decide that. You get 20% more? What? What? Interesting. No, I am off of Sunforged for a month. For reasons. Feel free to catch up on Sunforged if you'd like. I'm not on there for reasons for a month. Damn it, I missed the end. I thought the groups were swapping each week. No. A whole month for reasons. Unless that isn't clear, we split the party. That's all I'll tell you. We split the party. For reasons. We're not talking about it anymore. Go watch it if you would like to know things. If you would like to know the reasons and the people involved. And the reason is you. Sort that out for yourself. Bjorn Billy, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Your Jedi mind tricks do not work on chat. I'm not doing a Jedi mind trick. I'm pretending that when I do this, it says reasons in sparkly GeoCities letters. Reasons. Oh my God, don't talk to me about A-list, dude. Boxing Panda said, speaking of D&D, I got introduced to you and a few others because of Brett's IO world. I'm loving A-list and the rest of the misdemeanor crew. I'm at the part where you guys are preparing for Kazmakara. Dude, I love that little monster so much. It was such a good campaign. Misdemeanor will be in my heart forever. One of the comics that I wrote a script for was literally about Alis because I couldn't stop thinking about him after the campaign was done. That's it. That's all my coffee. Rest in peace. Ugh. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Sam pulled me into a group chat that's just all people that are playing Marvel Rivals. I'm getting so many deets now. Stuff that I just would not look up on my own, you know? Rivals Anonymous, yeah. It's a lot of like, here are some new leaks. I would never look that stuff up myself. But I know the leaks now, I guess. No! My baby. Oh, it's okay. Whew. Deep in the Rivals arc. Oh my god, there's a clip going around of a few streamers, no names. There's a clip going around of a few streamers like screaming at each other over Rivals. And one of my friends was like, bro, the second we care this much, we gotta stop. Like, I'm never playing this fucking game again. Dodger's my favorite competitive streamer. Thank you. I can't imagine, like, I get frustrated. Sure. If I'm playing a game and I'm just dying over and over again to the same thing, yeah, that's frustrating. Or like, you know, sometimes when we're playing Rivals, I'll be like, are we just not pushing? Are we not trying to get on the point, gang? You know, I'll say toxic shit like that, but it's never, the malice isn't truly in my heart. Like, you see some of these clips and people really are like going for each other. And I'm like, dude, walk away. Like, stop playing. What's happening to you? Yeah, if I'm not having a good time, I close it. I don't know. I guess that's also kind of the League effect, right? Like, the number of people that I know that will be playing a game like League, and they're having a great time and doing well, and they're like, one more game, and the game goes bad, and they just spiral from there. That happens all the time. How do you have the energy to get that Madge? That's what I'm saying. Oh my god, that just reminded me. I said Madge in front of my kid, and she was like, why did you say Madge? And I had no explanation. I was like, you know how we were talking about slang? I was trying to explain slang to her. I was like, you know how we were talking about slang? Madge is kind of a slang word for mad. And she was like, why? I was like, that's such a good question. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I was like, people say Sag too instead of sad. And she was like, why? I was like, again, no clue. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's like when somebody says, oh, pog, right? Like, how do you explain that? Well, see, on twitch.television, there's an emote of a man going, and it's called pog. Like, she doesn't need all that. She doesn't, that information does nothing for her. Oh my God. If you watched Geekenders, Jesse was asking whether or not my kid has started asking like crazy questions. And I was saying that kids start asking really existential questions around 4 years old, from my experience, right? My kid's 6 now. She's going to be 7 in April. And I had said something like, I mean, yeah, she does pretty consistently, but like, I couldn't think of anything like truly weird that we had a conversation about. And then literally the next morning, we had a whole conversation about if all of your blood was sucked out of your body, could your body remake blood fast enough for you to live? This was a whole thought experiment for her. And I'm trying to remember why she initially asked. Because she was, oh my God, I remember this now. Here was the path, okay? She's lost a bunch of teeth recently. One of them, we're pretty sure she swallowed. But she still got the coin, right? And so she was like, I guess the tooth fairy is able to magic the tooth out of my belly if I swallow it. I was like, I guess so. She's magic. Who knows? And then she was like, what if the tooth fairy accidentally took my blood? And I was like, well, the blood's a liquid, so I wouldn't really worry about that. She's probably looking for something like substantial. And she was like, well, but technically your blood has blood cells, so she could grab a blood cell. I was like, right, but a blood cell is very small, and I don't think she'd make that mistake twice, right? Even if she took one blood cell, I think you'd be fine. And she was like, what if the tooth fairy went crazy and took all of my blood cells? I was like, then you'd be really, truly fucked, right? Because your heart needs that, right? And she was like, well, but don't other cells in your body become blood cells if you don't have blood cells anymore? I was like, I don't know the exact science, but your body replenishes blood. Yeah, if you get a bunch of blood taken out, your body can create more blood, right? That's fine. And she was like, how long, if if the tooth fairy took every individual blood cell out of your body and you suddenly had no blood cells, how long could you live? And I was like, well, your heart needs it. Your whole body needs the blood, right? But like, if we want to talk about what specifically would kill you, I would assume your heart having no blood would be bad, right? It would stop pumping. So, and your brain needs blood. I think you die immediately. And so then we were driving. So it's not like I could be like, you know what? Let's look some of this up. But I was like, the math here, I guess, would be how fast does your body remake blood? I don't think fast enough. But how much time does it take your body to remake blood? And how long could you live if you had literally no blood in your body? That would be the math, I guess. And we talked about that for so long. And I was like, this is what Jesse's talking about. This is the shit that Jesse's talking about. Where if somebody was suddenly listening into the conversation, they'd be like, what's happening here? But yeah. How quickly can the tooth fairy steal your blood if they have to take it one cell at a time? This is another good question. Very good question. And that's a magic question, isn't it? But I would argue that tooth fairies wouldn't have, like, at this point, evolved to need to do things quickly. I don't think. They wouldn't have a necessity to be able to magic a thing to them in rapid succession. I assume there are. I've never thought there was only one tooth fairy. I've always assumed it was a contingent of tooth fairies, that they are a genre of fairy, right? They need points in stealth, not speed, I don't think. I don't think speed is an issue. I saw Rise of the Guardians. It's canon for me. Rise of the Guardians is Tattoo Santa, right? That's Jack Frost. Yeah, there's a bunch of questions here. And then Clark and I were walking to get our breakfast because I had promised her we would go back to our diner before she starts school again. And I was like, holy shit, dude, we've only got a couple of days to do this. Let's go. So we went. And as we were walking up, I was like, you know, we've had a good morning. We took our walk. We drew every single character of the Loud House. Kill me. We did so much today. And now we're going to go get breakfast. And she was like, and we talked about whether or not you would die if a tooth fairy took all of your blood. I was like, true. And she was like, which is not a conversation I wanted to have. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You brought it up, dude. Don't try to turn this around on me like, mommy, you forced me to talk about blood for like an hour in the car. Don't do that. What do you mean? Rude. Yeah. My kid has gotten very into the Loud House. Because we watched the movie. Which makes no sense whatsoever. But then she was like, I kind of want to watch the show. And she had seen episodes of the show before, but was never really into it. And so she started watching the show, and now it was reminding me of Jesse's like Jesse rule of success for video games thing. The Loud House, the concept here is it's a family with 11 kids, 1 boy and 10 girls. Each of the girls is incredible at something, right? They all like have their niche. They're all like hardcore like archetypes. Okay. And then there's Lincoln, the middle child boy. And he's like the family manager basically. And I don't know. I it took me a while. I've warmed up to it. It sounds like the premise to a harem anime. It is very silly. But it is one of those shows, and I always appreciate shows like this. It is one of those shows where it revolves around a family where everyone in the family is deeply protective of each other. If one of them's having a hard time, everyone else in the family is like, what do we got to do to fix this? Right. I like shows about a family that have that sort of vibe where everybody is like all in on one another, super protective of one another. I think it's cute. And it works even better because the kids are all so different. So it winds up being really wholesome, right? Like one of the kids is like a hardcore goth, and she has the episode that you would expect where she's trying to impress somebody and she feels like she needs to be more normal, and all of her siblings are like, we'll help you be normal, right? And very quickly they're like, but also if this person doesn't like you for exactly who you are, then fuck them, right? Like it turns around into that really quickly, right? It's cute. It winds up being a cute show. But my kid is really into drawing. Great. Love it. I will never tell her not to draw. And it's turned into, let's draw every single child in the Loud House. Let's draw all of them. Let's draw every single one. So that's what we've been doing. One of her Christmas gifts was a light box. It's like a thin little light up thing to help you trace. So whatever parent is with her at the time gets assigned a character, and we draw the character for her, and then she traces it and adjusts things if she wants to adjust things, and then colors it. And it's cute. It's been really cute. It's fun. It's we're getting to the point now though where I'm like, I don't ever want to draw one of these kids ever again. I don't want to draw them anymore. I don't want to. I don't want to anymore. I will because I love you, but I don't want to do it anymore. We have like 3 kids left, and I'll push through, and we'll finish them. We'll do them all. But God, I don't want to draw them anymore. What can you do? Okay, I have no messages from my husband asking a bunch of questions about shit, so I'm gonna assume that they're good to go. The place that they're going, Sam has never been to before. And so I'm always ready for a where am I supposed to be? Where is this thing? Sort of question. None of them. Hell yeah. I do draw. I do draw. Drawing was my passion. Up until I graduated high school, basically. And then I stopped drawing unless it was for class. I had, you know, my like set design classes and my costume design classes and all that because I was a theater student. And those are basically all that I drew for, was if I was doing design on a show. And I occasionally go through waves of like drawing a lot. I have a really hard time drawing without the intention. It's very difficult to deprogram yourself in terms of I'm doing this art for me, right? For some reason with drawing, it's really difficult for me to draw things and think, nobody else needs to see this, right? This is literally just for me. It's fine if it's scuffed. Who gives a shit? That's really, really hard for me when it comes to like physically drawing, and I don't know why. was talking to my friend from uni about how studying architecture killed my passion for drawing, and I still don't have it back. It's hard, isn't it? We talk a lot about reading that way. That a lot of people, there's definitely a common denominator where a bunch of people will say, I used to love reading, and then I suddenly had to read for school. I had to read all of this shit for school, and I stopped loving it, right? It is interesting, that conversation. Like, how do you keep your passion for something when, for some of these things, school will naturally burn you out on it? How do you find joy in that thing again? I was talking about that with, about reading with my sister-in-law. Because I was like, yeah, you know, Clark loves being read to, and she can read great. It's just snowballed. She can read just about anything now, but she doesn't like to just sit and read. And my sister-in-law was like, I don't think I liked to sit and read until I was like an older teenager, but I love it now. And I think sometimes we worry that if things don't lock in when you're a little kid, they never will, but you have so much life to live, you know? And it's okay if like you loved a thing and then you stopped loving it for a while. You have plenty of time to love it again. Or if you never really loved a thing when you were a kid, you have so much time to fall in love with that thing, you know? Which is true, which is so true. Fan fiction kept me reading when I had trouble with books. Same. Whenever I have trouble with novels and things, I can always read fanfic. Always. And I appreciate, there have been quite a few people that I follow for book recommendations, which is hilarious because I don't take the recommendations most of the time. I just like listening to people talk about books for some reason. There are a bunch of people that I follow because they talk about books. And some of them have started at the end of the year when they're like, this is how many books I read. And, you know, like, here's a breakdown of, you know, what genres they were and stuff like that. They'll start including how many words of fanfic they read and how that would break down into like the average number for novels, right? And I think that that's fascinating because some people read like nearly 100 books worth of fanfics, right? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, for me, I will always maintain that the reason I'm able to read fic easier than I can read a novel is because I'm already invested. I'm seeking out a story about characters that I'm already invested in, a world that I'm already interested in, right? That's why it's so easy. I have trouble with novels, and this is why I was like, bro, I'm now a true believer in like at least the beginning of a book, just listening to it. I have so much trouble reading novels because it takes me a long time to give a shit, right? And audiobooks have helped me with that a lot because I'm just listening. I'm just listening to it. And if the narrator's good and the story is good, I will get invested. I need to get into audiobooks. I still haven't yet. The first audiobooks that I really enjoyed were autobiographies. Finding audiobooks about a person that you already like or are intrigued about, and having them read it is fascinating. That's really fun, I think. And then what got me on this most recent kick of listening to a ton of audiobooks was that I kept trying to read fucking Six of Crows, and everyone was like, it's so good, it's right up your alley, you're gonna love it. And I could not get through the beginning of that book. I don't know what it was, because it's not like Harrow, right? Like, I complained so much about Harrow because the beginning of that book was fucking confusing on purpose. And then if I dropped it and came back, I'd be like, well, I have to start over, because I already didn't know what was going on, but I'm not going to go in with nothing, right? It wasn't like Harrow. It was just, for some reason, I could not push past this one part at the beginning of the book. And I was like, it's not that it's not interesting. It's not that I don't think the characters are interesting. I just cannot push through it for some reason. So I was watching one of these lovely people that reviews books, and they did a video that was like, here are my current favorite audiobooks that I've ever listened to. And one of them was Six of Crows. And they were like, Six of Crows is amazing because every chapter is from the perspective of a different person. And the audiobook hired a different voice actor, a different reader for each person. So it's constantly, the voice is constantly changing, and you associate these voices with this person, right? It's a cast drama instead of just one narrator. And I was like, you know what, I'm in. So I listened to it, and it was amazing. And then I listened to the second one, and it's the same voice actors, and it was amazing. And I was like, I'm never gonna find something I'm gonna love listening to the way that I loved listening to that. But I pushed through, and I listened to some Terry Pratchett. The Terry Pratchett books are great. They, as audiobooks, they're so funny. And then I did Vicious and Villainous. They did swap narrators between the two books, which I think was a good call. I liked them both. They were both fine, but I think logistically it was a good call for reasons. And then and now I'm listening to these Pacat books. And they've all been great. I do think the narrator can make or break a book, because I tried listening to a couple before these most recent books that I'm listening to, and I just couldn't. The narrator drove me crazy. I have a lot of trouble with most audiobooks. Having different voice actors might help. Yeah, you should try it. You should try it. I really liked it. And it's funny because it's not like, I'm trying to think of how to put this. So one of the characters' names is Inej, right? And so her version of one of the other main characters, Kaz, everything is like, his voice is like gravel. It's like rocks on wet paint, right? Like shit like that, right? Every person as a narrator of their chapter has to come up with their version of what Kaz's voice sounds like. And it's so funny. It's so funny. Because they all have to decide for themselves, like, what version of that voice can I do? because it's technically them telling the story, right? And so Inej always makes me laugh because she has a voice kind of more like mine. And so so her version of that voice is very different from like, you know, the more masculine voices and stuff. But they all, you can tell who they are, right? Like you can tell who all of them are being in that moment. I don't know. It's just fun. It's a fun way to do a book, I think, that has that like shifted perspective. Hi, Brett. How are you, buddy? Eepy. Fair enough. If it makes you feel better, my kid woke me up at 6 o'clock and was like, Mommy, guess what? It snowed. And I was like, it did snow. And she was like, can we go on our walk now? So we went on our dog walk in the snow at 7 a.m. And it was lovely, but also dark. Mm-hmm. I have an orange cat that screams at my face every couple of hours. Good. You need that, you know? Somebody told me that apparently cats can tell the difference in sleeping breathing and awake breathing. And that's why sometimes when you're just starting to wake up, your cat's immediately here. Like, hello, is it time to get up? Are we eating now? So, you know, if you like slightly wake up at 3 a.m. occasionally, like I do, and you have a Sherlock in your house, you have a cat there headbutting you like, hello, what are we doing? Eating, baby? I know. We're going to take him into the vet, I think. He is slowing down a lot. And if that's something that we can do something about, that would be great. And if that's just kind of the natural progression of his situation, then that would be good to know. So we can bring him in and they can tell me how he's doing, I guess. I feel bad bringing him in because it stresses him out so much. And if he's already sick, I don't want to stress him out. But at the same time, if this is just like, if this is something that we can deal with and he'll be more comfortable, I would like to do something to make him more comfortable, you know? Yes. Sherlock is like 16-ish. It's hard to know for sure because I got him from a shelter, but he's around that age. And he's got a bunch of tumors growing in his chest. So we don't know how much longer we have with him. But we were told to just keep an eye on, you know, like, is he still eating? Is he drinking? Is he playing? Is he running around? He's still eating and drinking fine, but he is not moving around very much, which I assume is because he's uncomfortable, you know, so. Everybody keeps saying that I'll know when it's, I've never had to like make that call about an animal. And everybody keeps being like, you'll be able to tell when it's time. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I will. Because I'm so scared that like what I'm perceiving as an acceleration of this thing is actually just, I don't know. I don't know how to tell. That's why I want a doctor. That's why I want a doctor to look at him and be like, this is what's happening, right? Or this is what, in my experience, what I think is happening. Yeah. I waited for the vet to make the call. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. It's winter. Of course he doesn't want to move around, right? He just sits on top of the area where our water heater is. Because of course he does. It's cold. It's cold and he's an old man. But also, maybe he's in a lot of pain. I don't know. Because he's a cat. And they're really good at hiding that shit, you know? So I want a vet to tell me. I need a vet, is what I'm saying. Having somebody else see what I'm seeing would make a huge difference for me, right? Because I'm his person and I've been with him for a billion years. So I might be seeing what isn't there because I'm worried. For Sam's relationship with Sherlock right now is if he tells me he's hungry, he's getting food. Which is fair. He's like, he's sick. We don't know how long he has. And if he wants to eat a bunch of fucking food, I'll just keep giving him food. Because he deserves that. He's been with us forever. So yeah, that's their relationship currently is if Sherlock meows at him, he goes, "You want some food, buddy?" and gives him food. How old is Sherlock? We think he's around 16. Thank you, RJ. Absolutely. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope this year goes great. It always feels when you're like concocting that sentence or something similar to that sentence, it feels like you're jinxing yourself somehow. I was like, do I want to say this? But it is my honest feelings. I hope that all of us have wonderful things happen this year. The whole year isn't going to be amazing because that's impossible, but I hope we all have lovely things to look back on at the end of this year. I just fed my orange dumbass. I opened a pack of ham and it woke her up. Yes. Anytime I open a can of anything, my cats are like, what are we doing? What are we eating right now? And I'm like, green beans. You want green beans? Like, no, Peach doesn't. Peach is pretty chill about food. Thank goodness. Dodger, I dislike most coffees, but I bought Sweater Weather and Midnight Sloth for my husband. It turns out we both love them. You and your team make great coffee. That delights me. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you like it. Considering that you typically don't like coffee and you bought it anyway, I already appreciate it at all. Thank you so much. Oh, guys, thanks so much. I'm so glad you like it. Same. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm okay with looking back on this year and being like, that was boring, but it was boring in a fine way, right? Like, nothing terrible happened. It was a lovely, boring year. I'm great with that. Oh no, Pete. If it helps, our response team with like issues with orders is typically pretty on it. So if you wanted to reach out and be like, help. I'll take a boring year over a chaotic year. Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's just started. It's just started. We're just putting good vibes out there. We're putting good vibes out there. I'm getting married this year. There's that at least. Absolutely. See? That's a good thing. That's a good thing to look forward to. Is it soon or is it later in the year? Summertime. Lovely. I'm graduating uni this year, unless I fail something, that is, which you won't. You're gonna graduate and it's gonna be great. It's my 5th anniversary in under 2 months. Yes! I'm going to Amsterdam over Easter break and then hoping to get a puppy over summer. Look at all these good things. My wife turns 50 this year. Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to AGDQ. I love the span of things here. Plenty of things can give you a little bit of joy. They don't have to be expensive big things. Yeah, I'm hoping to see more of this country that I've moved to, that I've put roots down in. So my in-laws and I are trying to plan a little road trip. That'll be fun. I want to start a chamomile garden. We use chamomile flowers for so many things. I want to just start growing them myself. Little stuff. You should visit Pooh Corner. I was told that. Yeah. Because whenever we go to a bridge, Clark wants to play Pooh Sticks, which will forever be the most hilarious name for anything. Oh, thank you, Fui. What are you going to use chamomile for? I drink a lot of chamomile tea. So dry the flowers for tea. And we used to put them in my kid's bath. And she loved it. And just yesterday, actually, she was taking a bath and she was like, do you remember when we used to do flower baths? And I was like, yeah, it was a pain to clean. But yes, I do remember when we would do flower baths. And she was like, I want to do that again. So I was like, great. We can do that. We just got to grow them, dude. I finally learned my lesson, and now I just put everything, like if we want chamomile or oats or whatever in the bath for like skin stuff, I put it in a sock now instead of just dumping it in the bath. I learned my lesson. I've learned. I've grown. How easy is it to dry chamomile? Really easy. Yeah. If you have just like, if you can get just like a wicker sort of like circle basket or something, you just pick the flowers and you can leave them out in the sun and they dry so fast because they're so tiny. I'm learning, yeah. Well, originally, people were like, yeah, just grind up the oats into basically the finest powder that you can and then put them in the bath. But I always made the bath so nasty. And I'm sure it was great for like the rashes and things. This was like baby days, right? Babies get rashes all the time. So we would do oat baths for her to help with the rashes. And now I just put a bunch of whole oats in a sock and just chuck them in the bath. Yeah, your bath tea. Yeah, people that like to put a ton of shit in their baths, they will just do that. They'll just put a bunch of stuff in a pot and steep it, basically like a tea, and then strain the stuff out and put that in the bath. And that way you don't have a bunch of shit to like sift out of your actual bath, unless you want to, right? If you like having a bunch of weird shit in the bath with you, I hate it because eventually some of it sinks and you're sitting on it. I hate that. I hate that. Yeah, it's just nasty. That's all. Even like Epsom salts. We put salts in the bath sometimes, and if they didn't like dissolve in the water and you get in the bath and then you're just sitting on salt crystals, no, thank you. No. I don't want that. I'm salty enough. I like the sensory. Yeah, clearly from person to person, it's different. Clark loves having all of the little flowers on top. All I can think to myself is that when you dip into the water and come back out, there's little flowers that like stick to you, and it drives me crazy. So it's different. It's different person to person. I used to soak my feet on a big bowl of hot water with marbles to step on. Wait, that sounds amazing. That's like a little foot massage. That sounds great. I want to do that now. We got marbles. We got marbles. Miss having a bathtub. I feel very bad for my sweet love Sam because he loves a bath and he just don't fit. He hasn't fit in any bathtub that we have ever had in a shared home. So once we've set aside some money for like to start changing stuff about the house, I would love to give him the bathtub that he wants. I would love to just be like, all right, rip this shit out. Put a big honker tub in here. Sam loves the jacuzzi thing. I've seen way too many videos of people trying to clean the jets. I don't want it. Yes. I told Sam that I really wanted to make an outdoor bath that's out of one of those like troughs. I think it would be great. I think it would suit the vibe outside perfectly. I used to work in a gym that involved the maintenance on those, and they're grim. Yeah. You can like get systems that like conduct heat from a fire. So if you're able to start a fire in a barrel that's connected to the trough, it'll heat the water. The issue then is like protecting yourself from the metal. So you have to like build wood barrier around the whole thing so that you're not touching the metal. So yeah, it's more involved, but you'd be able to make person soup. Mm-hmm. My in-laws have a blow-up hot tub, and it works great. It works great. I feel like if you are in an area where you're only going to want to use a hot tub like a couple of times throughout the year, depending on weather, blow-up hot tub is a good option. Oh, yeah. I mean, you have to think about that with, like, any sort of pond situation is giving creatures a way to climb out, right? But yeah, I think anything that's supposed to heat up water, you'd want to cover for, just to not waste the energy as well. I wonder if they're gonna eat. They could bring me food. I'm hungry, can you tell? What are you eating today? I don't know. My family is out of the house. Sam's doing a fun activity with Clarky before he has to work today. So I was like, I wonder if they're going to get food somewhere. And if they are, will they bring me some? I will not be eating human soup. No. I'm so sorry. You don't cook? Not today, I don't. Not if I don't have to. Give me the option. I'm not cooking every time. I enjoy cooking, but if they're grabbing food, what the fuck am I cooking for? Also, pretty sure there's some leftovers in our house. So even if that doesn't happen. So my answer is no. Not today, I don't. I've never cooked in my life today. I'm the same. I'll be cooking up a storm. I'll be cooking a bunch, and then I'll have a week where it feels mentally like impossible to cook. But fortunately, I've gotten pretty good at storing food, like making excess so that we have stuff in the freezer and whatever. But I hate planning what meals to have each week. It's the worst part. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have a friend with a bunch of kids, and she's reached the point where it's like, we eat the same thing every week. We eat the same thing every week. And then, you know, we'll occasionally have a sit down where we change things up, and then we're like, all right, and this is what we're eating every week now, right? She was like, you know, you'd think that you'd get sick of it, but if you choose stuff that like everybody generally likes, it's not that big of a deal. I had too many instant ramen this week. Bro, I want some of that. That would be great. I don't think we have any in the house, but it is what it is. I have 4 kids and we eat the same thing every week usually. I think that's just the way to go. Goodness. I'm just gonna ask him. I think that makes the most sense. For us, yeah, it's every Tuesday is tacos. Tacos always goes down a treat. But aside from that, we don't really have like a schedule. Yeah, I'm in England. It's not like I can go somewhere to buy tacos. Look, like I've said before, I'm sure that there are delicious tacos in areas that are not my area. There's probably a Mexican place in London that's incredible. I haven't eaten it, but you know. Statistically, there must be one. There has to be one. Just one good Mexican restaurant in England. It has to exist. Weeping for you from Texas. I watched a video. It had nothing to do with the food, but it was like a video with a family, and they were at a Mexican restaurant, and they had their plates just like filled up exactly the way that they would be if I were to go back to California and go to a Mexican restaurant. And I don't remember at all what that video was about, because all I could think the whole time was like, fuck, I want to eat that so bad. I want it so bad. And it was one of those moments that always resolves in my mind into, I need to just learn how to make this stuff, because I'm not going to find it here. I have to just learn. I have to learn how to make it. It makes me mad, but I have to learn. It's the only way. If I have to learn how to make frickin' chile rellenos or something, I will learn. It won't taste the same, but at least I'll have it, you know? You can get tortillas. Depending on the store you go to, most of the time there's only flour tortillas, and they're normally pretty small. I know Sainsbury's has big tortillas, but again, they're only flour. I've made tortillas at home, and they were delicious. Surely there's a way to store homemade tortillas that's a good way to store them. I haven't looked that up because every time I've made them, I've literally just sat there and eaten all of them. I've literally just sat there and eaten all of them. But see, here's the issue, right? Is I do think there's a huge difference when it comes to chasing a type of flavor. There is a difference between this is better food versus this is food that tastes like X. What I mean by that is, like, for me, I am daydreaming about eating at a Mexican restaurant, right? I want the food that I would make to taste like it does at a Mexican restaurant. Does that mean it's as good as the Mexican food at my friend's house that her abuela made? No, but that's not the flavor I'm chasing, right? That's not what I'm looking for. So you want it to taste familiar? Yes. Yeah. Because it's linked to like a homesickness thing, right? What's the alternative to a flour tortilla? Corn. Corn tortillas is what you're gonna get if you're at like a taco truck or something. We got no ad sneezes back. You're about to get hit with ads. I'm so sorry. Brace yourselves. You have 30 seconds. We're not powerful enough to hold back the ads. We did all we could. We snoozed them thrice. We did all we could. It's okay. After the ads, I should probably go anyway. Dude, yeah, it's like those families that will say, "Oh man, our grandma used to make the most amazing like ground beef pasta," and then as adults they realize it's Hamburger Helper, right? Like, don't knock that stuff. Don't knock it. You made a tasty thing for your family. Don't knock it. We have one of those like 50-cent cheesy pasta packets, and I bought a bunch of them when they were like dirt cheap, right? Because I got one a while back and we ate it, and Sam was like, "What the fuck was that? That was so good." And I was like, "You'll never guess." You'll never guess, dude. Yes, it's hard to make the tasty things from my childhood because we don't have the same cheap processed food here. Yes, that's so true. Things just taste different here. And if you say that to an English person, they're like, yeah, because our food quality is better. And I'm like, all right, settle down. We get it. But I'm chasing a flavor and I can't find it here. I don't want quality. Exactly. Where's my corn syrup? I'm playing with fire right now in our pantry because the box that has our caster sugar and the jar that I've now put our MSG into, that looks exactly the same. And I'm so worried that at some point, I have to label it. I'm so worried that at some point Sam's gonna make coffee and be like, oh, I need to grab some sugar. And just put a shit ton of MSG in his sugar or in his coffee. I'm very worried. Yeah, MSG, mega sugar granules. I've had accidental MSG tea and it was dire. Yeah. The sugar has a label that says sugar, but I'm still nervous. I'm still worried. Yeah, MSG is great. Not in place of sugar. My mom is an experienced baker and has actually at some point done the thing of using salt instead of sugar in a cake. I have a couple of friends that bake all the time and have totally done that before. This chocolate tastes weird. It's because it's a curry tablet. Yeah. Stuff like that. Where things just look oddly, like, just too similar. McDonald's puts sugar on their fries. So, yeah, it's definitely a thing. I don't know if they do here or if they still do everywhere or if that became too contentious. Why? To make them addictive. Sugar and salt on fries? They want everything to taste like you want more of it. Like the super sugary Subway bread. Oh, sugar bread is a thing everywhere in America, though. Another thing that English people love to complain about. I get it. It's just funny. After a while, you've heard it so many times that you're like, yes, our bread tastes like sugar. Yes. Yes, it does. It does. Okay. Let me read everything off, and then I'm gonna head out. Because I haven't heard if food is coming to me. And I'm starving now because we've been talking about food. Again, as a reminder, tomorrow, we're still on the holiday schedule. And starting Tuesday, we'll be back to normal. Legacy Star Killer, thank you for the 66 months. Oh, also, ooh, let's open up Raid Leader. Erwinga for the 50, Brutalist Toast for the 40, Happy Zulu for the 26, Cold Hearted, thank you again for subscribing. Welcome to the Cat Gang. Moondrop for the 42, Sergio for the 1 year, happy anniversary, thank you very much. Bjorn Billy, thank you for the gifted sub. Suze for the 82, Jahome for the 4 years, thank you so much, happy anniversary. Bjorn Billy, thank you for the 2 months. Parade of Laughter for the 58. R. Drews for the 5. Alicianat for the 75. And Gabranth for the 5 years. Happy anniversary to you as well. Thank you, thank you. Let's raid Pirate Software. He mentioned in the past he used to watch the podcast back in the day. And I believe he's also doing a charity thing. Seemed like a good option since we were talking about charities earlier. Okie dokie. Hold on. Sure thing. Here we go. Boop. Okay. Go say hi, spread love and joy, and I will see you guys tomorrow. As a reminder, I won't be on Sunforged. We have a split party situation on Sunforged currently, so I won't be on Sunforged for the next month. However, you should still watch it because it's great. And that's it. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Bye-bye.